mercenaries, really, that's the double M. Born baller, baby boy, I be above the rim.
What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
Kevin, KD, why do people call you KD? Can I call you KD? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first name is Kevin.
Right.
And my second name, my last name. My second name. My last name is Durant with a D.
KD. This year, what percentage do you plan on giving on the court? 90, 95, 100, 110? What are we looking at?
110.
110.
Be like that for the rest of my career coming in here. So, it's like the scoring girlfriend. Just wants an explanation on why I left, but still hoping for a text back. And I'm just like, yeah, it's fun while it lasted.
Talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do. Brought to you, as always, it's your host, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. Family, you know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up or follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. On IG at JustBlaze513. On Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Email the show as well. Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. You already know the drill. The line is open, 908-718-1592. Support the show. Cop your merch. Link is in my bio. Very easy to find. Leave your boy a review on iTunes, Spotify. Check out the YouTube as well. Link is in my bio. Easy to find as usual. Joining me this week, family. Had to do an impromptu episode this week because a lot of shit is going down. But joining me this week, he's been on countless Above the Rim episodes before. Co-host of the Rap Roundtable, the Gray Area Pod, the Kyrie Whisperer himself. My man, Ray Jarvis. What's good, my brother? How you living?
What's good? Above the Rim family, what's good? It's always good to be back. Justin Lee, a.k.a. Just Blaze.
Sir.
The boy Kyrie has gone home. One of the loudest seasons of his career. We have to talk about it, bro.
We must. And I'm glad you're here to join me, my brother, because I couldn't choose. And there's no one else I thought of more that I wanted on this episode more than you, my brother. So I appreciate you for taking the time, man. I know this episode had to be pushed up in the queue because of the impromptu suite, but nonetheless, the streets are calling for us. The streets need it. The streets need to hear what happened to the Brooklyn Nets, and we are here, my brother. So appreciate you for making the time, and let's get it, man.
Sir.
So the Brooklyn Nets, as we talked about before, the loudest broom in America right now came out this week. And it was used right here in our city, job, man. The Brooklyn Nets completely swept off the floor by the Boston Celtics, which was supposed to be the premier matchup of the first round of the playoffs. And it was anything but that. Even though it was a 4-0 sweep, the margin of victory was not really that huge. Game 1, it was a 1-point game. Game 2, it was a 7-point game. Game 3, it was a 6-point game. And Game 4, it was a 4-point game. Going over some of the numbers from this series, KD, 26, 5, and 6 on 38% shooting. Kyrie, 21, 5, and 5 on 44% shooting. Seth gave you 14. Bruce Brown gave you 14. Clax gave you 10. Drummond gave you a measly 3 points and 3 rebounds. On the Celtics side, Tatum 29, 4, and 7 for the series. Jaylen Brown 22, 5, and 4. Marcus Smart 16 and 7. Horford gave you 13. Grant Williams gave you 11. And but we're gonna focus a little bit more on the Brooklyn Nets side for this episode. Only team that gets swept in the playoffs, unfortunately. 3 years into the KD era, my brother, only one playoff series win. Ironically, it was against these very Celtics, but no Jaylen Brown a year prior. This was the 30th playoff series in KD's career. First time he's been swept. So let's talk about it, my brother. Watching this series, I was pissed off. I was surprised, shocked. I was annoyed. I know you probably were too. So talk to me, man. Give me one word you use to describe why, how you're feeling on this whole net sweep right now. Talk to me.
The only word I could think of is delusions. You know what I mean? Because we got to go full circle here. The Nets had delusions of grandeur when they brought in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. The black and white was going to take over the city. New York was guaranteed a championship with two of the premier free agents, two of the most skilled players in the world in their prime coming into Brooklyn. I was on that bus. I figured, you know what? These two guys coming together along with the team that they had in place, they're the best team in the league. Delusions of grandeur. Why would you hire Steve Nash to mess up that equation? To me, it's kind of like I tell a story about when I thought Phil Jackson was coming back and he hired Mike D'Antoni to the Lakers instead. I had a really sick feeling that I woke up that morning, I got the alert and I felt sick. So this is bad. When Nash got the job, I tried to pump it up, but I was very leery. I said, if he's Kerr 2.0, this is a great idea. But there's only one Steve Kerr to date.
Yeah, that's a big if.
It's a big if. And as we see now, delusions. Because you have to be delusional to believe that a rookie coach can handle two mercurial personalities in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Yes.
And then you added a loafer in James Harden, a guy wishy-washy himself, James Harden. When in all actuality, when you brought in KD and Kyrie Irving, all you had to do was maybe trade Dinwiddie or LeVert and keep the rest of the equation together. Delusions. It's been a lot of mistakes in Brooklyn, and we're seeing the end result of these mistakes today.
I love how you said that, my brother, because I agree. It is delusion, and I'm going to take it a step. I don't know if it's a step further. It's about on the same thing, but another D word. Dysfunction. I'm going to use.
Dysfunction.
This whole entire season was dysfunction. This roster was dysfunctional. The personalities together were a little bit dysfunctional. And then you add on a weird, we're going to talk about Steve Nash, and I got a lot to say about him, but his whole attitude and demeanor and personality of this team didn't really mesh as well. So to me, it just looked like a whole ball of confusion. And I know a lot of people when I talk about who deserves blame or how does blame go around for this Brooklyn Nets series, me personally, I'm an equal opportunity employer for me. So I think everybody should get the blame right now to me. Nash for having absolutely no strategy and no B strategy also. KD to me, just because this is his team. And if you get the praise, you got to get the blame. And to me personally, I think he could have been a lot better this series in multiple areas. We'll discuss that. Kyrie for tailing off his production as the series went on. He had the phenomenal game one, and then it just went tailing down little by little, game after game after that. Nets management, I'm going to give some blame to him for all of the Ben Simmons coddling and demanded him to at least try to get on the court or suit up a little bit. And then we got to go Ben Simmons too for not even being there for your teammates when they could have used your talents. What were you there for? And we're going to discuss him too. So, man, that blame to me goes all around. So is there any person or party in particular that you would blame more, or are you an equal opportunity employer like myself?
I mean, I think I agree with you in the fact that the blame pie, there's enough slices for everybody. But I think there's bigger slices for certain individuals. Kyrie Irving gets a big slice because I'm not a person who pushes vaccinations, but just because we have to state the obvious, if he went forward and got the vaccine, the season goes a little bit differently.
Yes.
Right? Maybe James Harden is still in that. They have a higher seed, and they don't have to run into this buzzsaw in the first round. Another big piece of the pie has to go to Kevin Durant. A lot of the noise is, you're the best in the league. LeBron's out the way. This is your league, right? You got the Steph Curry coverage, I'm calling it, and you didn't know what to do. In fact, you got so intimidated by it that you overthought it and thought yourself into one of your worst playoff games ever in Game 3 of this series.
And
when in reality, if you have 2 to 3 people on you, use that to your advantage. That means that Kyrie's going one-on-one. Other players get to go one-on-one, or they're getting open looks. You just can't stand in the corner or stand in the elbow fake posting up. You have to do things at a more of a high rate of activity to be a real decoy, not a faux decoy. Another humongous piece goes to Steve Nash because to me, he's just the worst coach in the league right now. Like it's not close. He's the worst in the NBA.
Worst?
He's the worst. He's the
Shots
worst.
Fired.
Because at the end of the day, I remember watching Game 2, and I saw Jaylen Brown having a bit of a shaky game. And then we saw the Celtics find a way to free up Jaylen Brown with some actions, some pin downs, some catch and shoots.
Wow. Sounds like plays.
KD?
Sounds like plays being called.
I didn't see that for KD. So I got to give a big piece of the pie to them. And then Sean Marks.
Oh, Lord.
Some of these decisions.
Yeah.
Some of these roster decisions.
Questionable.
Or a little sliver to Ben Simmons, but we knew what we were going to get.
I mean, we didn't know this though. Damn, you didn't expect him to suit up,
bro. We never got a straight answer. We never knew if he was going to play or was he going to play.
Yeah,
we never knew.
That's where I bring management into play. I think it was. Okay. I think it was their fault for even making the public or us believe that he was even going to try to attempt to play. Because I mean, every day it was new Ben Simmons update. ESPN had new Ben Simmons update. Every damn day they had a Ben Simmons update. Oh, his back hurts. He's playing 1-on-1. He's not playing 1-on-1. He's playing 2-on-2s. Then he's moving up to 3-on-3. Then he scrimmaged with the team. Then he didn't scrimmage with the team. Then he woke up and he had back issues. Then his brain is affecting his back. And he said it's contributing to his back issues. So, I mean, wow. That's a lot.
Do you want to play basketball? That's just it.
Point blank. I guess not.
That's it. That's all I want to know.
I guess not. We're going to go to him because I have a specific segment for Ben Simmons because his man is so ridiculous. But I want to piggyback off a lot of what you said with the blame pie. Some of the Nets mistakes that I thought about going on in this series, man. I wrote a couple of them down. I think early in the season, they kind of made some mistakes in letting go 3 of these guys who I think could have been useful in this particular series. They let go of James Johnson, a.k.a. Black Belt. He could have been used in this series. He could have been used some type of physicality. He could play the 3-4, maybe some small ball 5 in some certain particular lineups. Some physicality that they needed because they were getting dominated in the physical aspect of the series. Javon Carter, they let go of him, but maybe he could have played a role, maybe not, who knows. But Bembry as well. He was a wing defender that they had that they could have used against Tatum, that they could have used against Jaylen Brown. And not saying that he's an elite defender or elite player or anything like that, but the fact that the Nets were deficient in size is a problem. And Bembry is 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". He could have, been closer to Jaylen Brown's height because if you let Steve Nash call it, you got Patty Mills guarding Jaylen Brown. Got Patty Mills at 6'1" guard and 6'6", 6'7". Jaylen Brown was a monster. Or even Marcus Smart is going to dominate him. Come on. So, conflicting reports on Ben Simmons' return. That's also a mistake that they had. For Steve Nash, not playing Blake Griffin until game 3. You mean, I said earlier in the series, I'm like, I think this is a series that Blake Griffin could get some run. I feel like he could have played against Al Horford. He could have played against Daniel Tice. He could have given some energy. He could have gave 10 to 15 minutes a night as he did in the 1 or 2 games that he played. And he actually, sparked some energy into the team, some energy that they needed. And because he didn't play big, he was leaving Claxton out there as the only big. Claxton is not ready for that. Not to be the only big in a playoff series. No counter to any of Boston's counter. They didn't combat this Boston size difference. They put less size, more shooting up there. And the 3-point guard lineups, Patty, Kyrie, and the Dragons shouldn't all 3 be on the floor at the same time. Or Patty, Kyrie, and Seth, to me, all 3 shouldn't be on the floor at the same time against a bigger unit, against an opposing bigger unit. So to me, those were blatant, clear mistakes that I feel like could have easily have been corrected. And who knows, maybe the series could have went a different way.
I just don't understand how Steve Nash can believe that he could be Mike D'Antoni and not play bigs and watch his team lose when you don't even have the X's and O's of a Mike D'Antoni. For all of Mike D'Antoni's failures as a coach, the man can coach offense. KD wasn't going to look like that with Mike D'Antoni as a head coach.
They would have been scoring.
Exactly. So for you to flick your nose at LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, basically push James Johnson out the door, these are issues. I don't understand what the logic is. Like what did he do to get this trust, Jus, from the front office? Like who?
I would love.
Explain this to me.
I would love to know. I don't know. I don't think I remember who brought up Steve Nash as a choice for the organization. I don't know, but I know KD and Kyrie obviously backed the hire. But clearly to me, and I know when you look on Twitter, you look on online, a lot of the talking heads, the media is kind of split on if Steve Nash is the right coach for this particular basketball team. So some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. I'm of the position of hell no, absolutely not. And I'm not sure why people are trying to defend his mediocre coaching in this series. And you know what? When I was thinking, right, you know why Steve Nash needs to go and how I know he's not the right person for this team, bro? He lost 4 straight playoff games in a row and had 0 technical fouls, my brother.
That's crazy.
Even Monty Williams got a technical foul and a fine, and he's one of the nicest men in the NBA, right? Steve Nash stood there, watched his team get swept 4 games, and not one time during the game did he get mad enough to slam a clipboard, to cuss at the ref, to cuss at a fan, any damn thing, Jarv. He couldn't show me anything, not even one tech. That shows me
why not curse at KD for loafing in game 3?
Come on.
When your season was on the line.
Son, anybody like Steve Nash at half of the game, he was sitting down for half of the game. And that to me, that shows a lack of competitiveness when your team needed some juice, your team needed some energy, and you couldn't even get a tech. Like sometimes you gotta eat that and just get that tech, bro.
I just feel like this kind of shows that as much as we're trying to push the NBA as a players' league and this is what it's all about. The players dictate the success of the organization. Coaching still matters.
Yes.
You can't have a figurehead middle manager type boss in the NBA. To me, like, I'm looking at the Nets sideline and I'm looking at Kyrie and KD and I'm looking at Fizdale. I'm looking at grown men. Even Mark Jackson, as much as I don't like Mark Jackson, you need a grown man on that sideline because these guys need guidance.
Yes.
They don't need X's and O's as much as they need guidance first to build that trust. And then you can bring out the clipboard and draw up some plays to get them in actions that are successful. It's ridiculous.
It really is. Do you feel like, so I'm going to ask you this, do you feel like the Nets quit on Steve Nash?
Yes, absolutely. The body language was very loud.
Yes.
They didn't believe. I don't know if they quit. Let me walk it back. I don't want to be Stephen A on him. I don't know if they quit on him as much as they just didn't believe they could anymore. And even if they don't believe they could, it's still an indictment on the coach.
And I agree because, it's actually mind-boggling to me because their body language told us one story, but then they go in the post-conference after and they sort of seem like KD and Kyrie sort of seem like they're backing Steve Nash.
Right.
They were basically saying that what would they say? That he didn't get dealt a fair hand. He didn't get a fair shake. I don't agree with that shit at all. I feel like you work with what you got as a coach. You do less with more. I mean, you do more with less. Excuse me.
I mean, but what is less, Just? Kyrie, Irving, and Kevin Durant are supposed to be more.
That is true. That is true. I mean, that's two. A lot of the times you have the 2 best players on the floor and you can't work with that. You can't get a win. You can't get a win.
Not one game?
One game, son. The sweet to
That's
be
what I'm
was a
stuck
problem.
on. I don't mind losing. One game, bro. At the crib?
One game, son. That was utterly ridiculous. Like, and
look how they blew. They should have been up 2-0. They blew both games.
Both games they could have won. The margin of victory, you saw how it was. It was so small. And you got Udoka over there on the other side, who was the Nets assistant coach last year. Now he came. You knew your game plan, so they already knew what you were going to do, which means you had no counter. Because he already told his squad the strategy. He's like, man, Nash is going to do this. They're going to put KD in this type of payment. They're going to post him up here, ISO him here, Kyrie here. He's going to drive whatever. Bruce Brown, he's just going to be there doing whatever he needs to do. But the strategy was there for the Celtics. And Udoka basically outcoached Steve Nash.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. This guy straight up outcoached.
He got outcoached on easy mode. It wasn't even like Nash put any pushback against Udoka. It was light work.
Exactly. So, with that being said, coaching, we talk about strategy. We got to talk about Kevin Durant's play this series, right? Because I wasn't really too happy with his performance. And I was actually surprised by his performance or the lack thereof of his performance this particular series. And when he was guarded by Tatum, he shot 17% from the floor, which is very un-KD-like. I mean, Tatum had a lot of help in regards to the physicality, bumping him off spots. They were very physical with him. When he was trying to post up, on the left wing, he was trying to post up a lot. He couldn't really get to his spots. And a lot of times he was getting really bumped off of the line like pretty easily. And I'm not saying KD is a stocky guy. We all know that he's a little bit of the lighter frame, so he can't be pushed around and pushed off of his spot. We saw that a lot when he was in Golden State a lot in that series with the Rockets when they were using, I think it was PJ Tucker using a lot of physicality against him. So they probably took a page out of that book from PJ guarding him last year as well in the Bucks series. And I'm a little bit surprised with KD's play that he wasn't able to overcome the physicality, because to me, it should have been expected to me. That's one of the normal strategies that teams use for KD. So how'd you feel about his performance this entire series?
It's, I don't know, Jus. I'm starting to wonder if, and on a night-to-night basis, Kevin Durant is one of the hardest guards in the league. But in a playoff series against elite competition, it looks as though he gets progressively easier to stop. I don't know if it's because of the Steve Nash effect of the lack of counters and proper adjustments, but even against Milwaukee last season, he was just trying to get to his spots over. That's what made PJ Tucker look so good against him. There was no wrinkles. It was the same thing. Boston, the same thing. When he was off the ball, he was standing in the corner, standing by the wing, standing by the elbow. And I'm just like, what you gonna do, KD? Like, you don't want to fight for the ball? You don't want to set Kyrie a screen, run a little Kyrie KD pick and roll action? Nothing. What are we doing, K? Where's the fire at this point? Where's the intensity? If you don't have the ball in isolation, what are you good for anymore? I hate to say these things, but this is what it's looking like.
Yeah, and a lot of times he was over fighting in the post. Like a lot of times when they were fronting him in the post, you saw him getting overly aggressive, and it wasn't
spin baseline, KD.
Yeah, and it wasn't even believable to me when he was getting like ultra aggressive against Tatum, against stuff like that, because they were a little bit physical, but they weren't like fouling him like really hard or playing dirty or nothing.
They were pushing him off his spot, Jus.
And they were very effective in doing so. Like, to me, you don't think KD expected that? To me, I'm like, there's no way you could not have known that that's what they were going to do.
The Boston Celtics came into the playoffs as the best defensive team in the Eastern Conference. So you knew it wasn't going to be easy unless you're that arrogant to believe that you and Kyrie are so good that no defense is good enough.
Now, I like how you said that. Now, was that a thing? Or were these two too arrogant in this series? And maybe they're
saying they're the most skilled in the league, right?
Yeah. Did they say that, or was that a Twitter thing? That's a Twitter thing, right?
Someone said it. They holding it over their head.
Oh yeah, that's the headline for these two. Is the two most skilled players in the NBA got swept, and it's the sweep part that's bothering me. The sweep, son.
Because how do you go from almost winning games 1 and game 2 on the road to getting swept? I don't understand. I've never seen that before.
Which performance was more pathetic? Was it more pathetic in Boston or at home?
At home.
Yeah.
Because Boston, the first play I was upset about, because I feel like in the last possession of a game, you shouldn't be scrambling like that. Somehow you had two guys. You had almost three of the 5 players on the floor. Game 1.
Yeah.
Chasing the ball. And then Tatum got the layup. Where was the defensive integrity? I don't know. Game 2, you controlled most of the game. You folded late. These things happen. I'm thinking, all right, 2 close games. They're going to come home, win game 3, and then game 4 is a toss-up. They played terribly in game 3. Game 4 looked a lot like game 3 until late. What happened? What happened on the flight?
I agree. And I got to pull KD's card also, because remember at the end of game 4, with him missing those free throws at the end of the game too. Like, whoa. Oh. I'm like, oh no. Once I saw him miss those free throws, I said, oh no. This is getting mental now, clearly.
He's looking real LeBron-ish.
That's a damn fact when he talk about that. Looking a little Raymond-ish. That's the truth. And yo, I really couldn't believe it. Like, I'm sitting here like, yo, my son is really about to get swept right now. Like, this is like really ridiculous. And I know, the critics were out in droves at the end of that game. They're
looking real Knicks-like out there, bro.
Yes, son. Now the narrative is Jason Tatum is a better player than KD. Now KD is not a leader at all. And let's talk about the leadership a little bit real quick. Is there? Do you think? All right, I'm gonna word this way. I'm not trying to slander. Do you think KD can work on his leadership skills, or do you think he can improve on his leadership skills?
I think he's a good leader. Let me start there.
Okay.
What I think he actually needs to work on is handling adversity when he is the number one guy.
Yes.
In OKC and in Brooklyn, he was a decided number one guy. And adversity didn't go well for him.
Yeah.
Golden State, you had a lot of buffers when things got tight.
Plenty.
And I don't like the KD I see when things get tight when he's the guy. And I think that speaks to his character in some form of way. And I think that's something he needs to work on, especially if Steve Nash is your coach. And as you've seen it, I've seen it. Yes. If you're going to be running isolation over and over again late in games, we need you to be the best version of yourself. Or give Kyrie the ball. We don't Kyrie like the moments.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't like KD when it's adversity.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I agree with you. And some players, they get, more emotional. Some players, wince in the time of adversity or pressure. And some, really...
It gets weird. I can't even say he's afraid, but it's not, I don't get confidence from him when it's really tight like that.
He gets quiet, but he's kind of always quiet like that unless he really has a wild game. So to me, he's different because he never looks out of character. Right? So it's really hard to really distinguish what's good leadership and what's bad leadership because he's a leader by example, of course. Right. But he does have to be, I would say this, he does have to be more vocal going forward because now he's a veteran in the league. There are a lot of players on the team looking up to him. So when players look up to you, they already vote you as the best player in the game, one of the best players in the game. They're looking up to you. They're ready for the matchup against KD. Sometimes there's a mental aspect of the game and you have to use your voice. You have to use your cachet in order to really mentally beat guys like Draymond. They mentally beat guys in the series. Chris Paul, dudes like that. They know how to really voice their cachet or whatever the case may be. Whatever it is they want any type of advantage you possibly have.
But KD's not that guy.
I know.
He thinks skill is enough.
It's not.
Everything is skill.
Everybody's skilled in the NBA right now. I mean, with these young guys coming to the league, nobody's scared.
Throw a forearm, KD. When Tatum was getting under you, take the tech. Yep. Throw a little forearm. Let them know you're there.
Son, no techs. There were 0 technical fouls in this series. That's unacceptable when you're losing. Oh, my God. Let's talk about Kyrie, man. Kyrie's performance in this series. I called you the Kyrie whisperer earlier coming into this episode because you are, my brother. I know you defend Kyrie a lot, and warrantably so, because there's been a lot of criticism about Kyrie the entire year. People are taking wild, crazy shots at Kyrie the entire year. A lot of it is unwarranted. Some of it I could understand. Some, maybe if you don't like the guy, that's okay to, I guess, not like a player. It's cool. There are players that everybody doesn't like, but a lot of the shots going Kyrie's way are personal. A lot of them, and which that's the part of it that I really don't like. Now, yes, should he have taken a vaccine? That's a choice on you, that individual, on what you think he made it the right or wrong decision. It was his personal decision, whatever. Did it hurt his team? Yes, though, because it did affect it was a distraction, number one, but it was a media distraction, really. It wasn't really a team distraction as much as it was a media distraction. And it did affect the seeding. So that is one thing that I would say it did affect throughout the season, in which ultimately affected the series, because then they wouldn't have been playing against a team like Boston. So, because he had a very weird series. For game 1, 39-point outburst in game 1. He took on the crowd. He took on the fans. He took all of that on and was the villain of that game. Game 2, he had 10. Game 3, he had 16. Game 4, he had 20. Now, when you look at how he performed this series, do you feel like game 1 burned him out a little bit? Or what would you think is the reason of his decline of production through the series?
I don't think it was burnout. You know what? I'll throw you a bone, Jus. You saw how once your Suns last year in the Suns-Lakers series, no matter how I feel about AD's injury, big whatever. But one thing that stood out to me in that series was once you guys figured out that we couldn't make a three-pointer, the series was effectively done, right? Boston looked around and they saw KD, they saw Kyrie, they saw no adjustments. They knew what was coming. When you know what's coming and the spacing ain't there, how it nice to... You look at when Kyrie goes through the lane, it's a lot of space, a lot of lanes for him to fill. So he was in traffic a lot. They knew where to be.
Yeah.
The help was always there. the big was at the rim. Because Boston looked around and said, we don't care about Dragic. Steph Curry's a role player, right? Claxton, please, have a dunk. Whatever. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They looked at the competition, made the necessary adjustments, and it affected the superstars. I can't say that he burnt out. I think that the defense was there. I got to give Boston the credit. They knew what to do.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what's crazy? They defended him a lot single coverage too. They didn't really double Kyrie. I mean, I can't even remember times where he was really
no double.
Yeah, like none at all.
No doubles. But once he got by that first defender, the help was there.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy because going into the season, I don't know if you remember, Bruce Brown had the quote talking about we could go to the rim, we could get to the rim anytime we want because there's no Time Lord there. They had no Time Lord, and they still found a way to have excellent rim protection and really kind of smothered Kyrie, low-key. Every time
defensive discipline, bro. A lot of that in Boston.
And one thing, if I'm gonna be honest here about Kyrie, I needed to see. I said early in the series, going into the series, I needed to see a little bit more point KD and a little bit more point Kyrie. I really didn't see any of that this series, and I was very disappointed in that because Kyrie, we all know his strong suit is not. I can't even say it's not playmaking because he is a playmaker, but his best asset... He's a scorer. His best asset is not passing, but that doesn't mean he can't pass because he still is a point guard. He still was a guard his entire career, so he can make plays for anybody. He could get you 8, 10 assists if he really, 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 really wanted to, or he really makes an effort to get that. So I'm going to say that I'm very disappointed in him that he really didn't embrace that point guard role on the Nets this series because I feel like that's what they needed against an elite defense like that. They were relying way too much on the Dragon to come in and play point guard, and he's not even a pure point either.
Goran Dragic is old. He can't take on that responsibility anymore.
Yeah, 100%. So that's why I'm very disappointed in Kyrie that he didn't really take on that role and really, not saying that they didn't make their teammates better, but he didn't really put his teammates in an effective position where they can really play off of him. It was really more so, I'm going to get mine and I need everybody to play off of me. And I think against a team like the Celtics, that could probably work against 75% of the teams. But against the number one defense in the league, you got to adjust your coverage. You got to adjust how you play. You got to adjust everything in this type of series. And I don't feel like Kyrie did enough of that, in my opinion.
Which goes back to personnel.
Yeah.
Why trade Dinwiddie when he could have been exactly what you needed in the series?
Now, Dinwiddie, see, he's a perfect complement to a Kyrie.
Yeah, you paid Joe Harris, but traded Dinwiddie and LeVert. I'm never going to get over it.
Oh, I was... And Jared Allen. Let's not talk about Jared Allen. A center that they needed. You playing Drummond who got you 3 points.
You had everything you needed right there. And then you traded for Ben Simmons on a hope he might play.
Oh, my Lord. Now, I'm glad you brought him up. Let's get into this guy right here because he was disgusting to me. The whole coverage around him. Anytime I hear Ben Simmons' name, I was disgusted about what was going to come after that. I don't even know where to even start with Ben Simmons, man. I don't think I've ever been... I probably have, but he's up there with the most disappointing players to me, in my opinion. But just the lack of competitive fire in him. You see your team being down, you don't even try to suit up. Like, my thing is, at least make it look like you care. Like, I would rather Ben Simmons be in uniform, like one of the guys that sit on the bench, even if you're not playing. But he decided to try to get flea with his Cuban links, colored pants, all of that. For what reason, though? To be more of a distraction? Like, I don't understand Ben Simmons' I can't even say mental now because then it looks like I'm even... I can't even understand where his head is.
You can't even talk. That's how ridiculous it is. You can't talk.
Anything I say about him, I feel bad. Like, while I'm saying it, I'm like, why can't you be honest and point blank period to be like, this guy should have suited up? Like, going into the series, did you expect him to play? Going into the series?
Yes. I honestly, I thought he'd be in Boston. Game 2.
No.
That's what I expected.
And that's what makes it more sad because the Nets could have really used you. Like, they could have really used the Ben Simmons in this
He's literally
series.
the missing link to a successful Nets season. What he does is what they need.
And that's why it made absolutely sense why he didn't try. Do you feel like... do you think the rest of his teammates were being honest with him during the season? Like, do you think they were just like... whatever, it's cool if you don't play, but deep down they're like, damn, I'm disappointed in this dude right now. He should have suited up.
Yeah, I think that they said the right things because there's some issues with Ben. Like, Ben might be mentally fried. Like, we go back to that dunk attempt that became a pass and the backlash. I think he's cooked. There's something not right with Ben. And the Nets made a big mistake trading for him. Because we don't know, if you're telling me now that your mind is so messed up that your back hurts and you were willing to say that to the organization and willing to let that get out to the public, bro, what's going on? Something's not right here, bro.
That's mind-boggling to me that he would even like say that and let that get out too. And it was even worse is that he's not even talking either. So you're just letting all of this stuff swirl around you, true or maybe untrue, who knows? Nobody even knows, but they're just gonna believe whatever's being said until you...
Are you that afraid to fail?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, this is the NBA, this is a competition. I feel like it would have been better for him if he got on the court and maybe he wasn't the all-star, all-NBA Ben Simmons, but I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. They were just expecting a defensive presence, somebody who can give them another creator, at least. Even if he gave 15 minutes, it would have been better than anything Drummond was given. Like,
be a facilitator, play defense, be a long body to put on Tatum or Brown, and just help the team somehow.
Yeah. And I was talking to Damo about this the other day. He was like, yo, he was like, if it's me, I'm trading Ben Simmons this summer. I'm not even keeping him. I don't care if he suits up. I don't even want to see him on the Nets floor anymore.
Trade him for what now?
Well,
who wants that?
I agree. I said the same, but he brought up he was like, what about a Rudy Gobert? Because he was like, the Jazz about to fall out in this series. Rudy Gobert is going to be looking useless. Would you do that?
That doesn't help the Nets.
I mean, they could use a rim protector.
Yeah, but you need a true facilitator.
Indeed. And so you now, are you giving Ben Simmons another shot next season?
Yeah, we gotta see something. We gotta get return on the investment. You traded James Harden for all the negative things about Harden. He was there. In my opinion, they should have waited until after the season. I don't know why they rushed. He was going to Philly anyway.
That's what I said. You remember? Wait, I don't know who. No, I think it was a Rima Damos on the episode, and I was like, man, James Harden going to Philly was inevitable. Like that was gonna happen regardless, with or without the Nets' help. So I'm like,
play out the season, do the sign and trade, and you still get the same pieces.
I would have been like, and then you didn't need no Drummond. You probably would like, I don't need no Drummond. Let him go because he's a free agent anyway. He was just throwing in the trade. So it's crazy to me, and I don't know. I'm like half and half on if I would give Ben Simmons another shot. I might, but I would really look into trading him. I'm not gonna lie, because now it's just a mental hurdle you have to go over, and then you just don't know what you're gonna get. So,
well, you know what, Jus? And I've said it on your pod many times. If you're gonna trade him now, you gotta send him to obscurity. You gotta go to Detroit, Sacramento, maybe one of those other cities, Utah, because I think Utah is about to blow it up. Yeah. One of those obscure NBA cities. That's it now.
Gobert. I don't even like Gobert, but I don't even like, but damn.
Donovan Mitchell?
Oh, no. They're not giving that for Ben Simmons. Nah, that would be nice. I'll tell you that. That would be nice.
You're right.
But shit, man. So I was thinking really quick, do you feel like when Harden, to me, I went on record, I've been saying Harden quit on the Nets. I've been saying that. And I don't know. You agree with that Harden quit on the Nets?
I do.
Yeah.
The minute Kyrie didn't take the vax and KD got hurt, all of a sudden Harden wants to leave? Wait a minute. It was all good just a week ago.
Where it came from? All of a sudden he's not happy. All of a sudden the strip club reports start coming out.
They were the first seed in the East, Jus. Everything was going well. Right. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to be here anymore. KD's hurt. Oh, I got to be the man now? No, I didn't sign up for this.
Exactly. Thank you. I didn't sign up for this. It was the real thing going into James Harden set. And like I thought it was inevitable too that he was going to be leaving. But him quitting on the Nets, I think it was a low key the beginning of the end of this season when it happened. Because at that point, the whole season became questionable at that point. Like, it became questionable of, are they going to have a top 4 seed? It became questionable if Kyrie's going to play at home. It became questionable if Kyrie was going to be playing at all. It became a question of when KD was going to come back, if he was healthy. So him quitting on the Nets really was the beginning of the end to the season. And I don't know, maybe not getting swept, but maybe losing in the first round was a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but getting swept, no. But maybe losing was a blessing in disguise because they really need to really come together as a unit right now and really think about what the hell happened this season, because this shit was unacceptable.
To me, if they kept winning, then we can't point at Nash to say he has to go. Getting swept in the first round, getting out-coached, embarrassed, outplayed, out everything. Something got to change. You can't run this back.
Come on. Something most definitely got to change. So a key role player or some type of piece is needed on that team or something that sits more than a coach. There has to be some veteran piece that could come in and really help and be a voice in that locker room also, because it looks like that's what they need also as well. So we talked about the Nets moving forward a little bit. Really quickly on the Boston side, I just wanted to say this real quick. I'm really upset and I'm really annoyed at these newfound basketball fans on Twitter or whatever really acting like Jason Tatum just got nice job. I had to bring it up in the show because it was really pissing me off. I'm like, hold on. I'm looking online like, oh, wow. I can't believe Tatum is playing like this. How was Tatum getting 25 on KD? How was he doing this? I'm like, hold on. Do you guys watch any basketball? Did Tatum just became nice?
Now, this is my favorite time of the year, Just, because the playoffs always expose the people who just watch highlights and don't watch the games. I've been trying to get Tatum to LA for the last 2 to 3 years for a reason. That boy is good.
He's the goods.
And he's getting better because, first of all, he never used to defend like this. Like, he's defending now.
Yes.
Holy, hey, listen, he's that deal. I'm glad that the fake NBA fans who only watch SportsCenter and First Take have discovered Jason Tatum, but he's been like that from day one.
From day one. People forgetting his rookie year, he was battling LeBron in the playoffs. Rookie year.
Do it on LeBron in Game 7.
Was that in the conference finals or semifinals?
Conference finals.
Conference finals. Shit, look at that. Season 1, year 1, he was in the conference finals going toe-to-toe against LeBron as the leading scorer and the number 1 option on that team.
There you go.
So he's been like that. So I just want to say on record, these new NBA fans are really getting on my nerves. And Tatum was my MVP pick 2 years in a row. It didn't happen, but listen, I might have to try for a third next year. Hopefully,
I think the campaign for next season started with this series.
Yes, I agree. Because now we got a whole lot of new NBA fans. Now, Twitter brought a whole new category. I love the rolling of the eyes because I'm doing it the same, my brother. It's ridiculous. So really quick before we get on out of here, brother, quick thoughts on these series going on right now. Miami won the series yesterday against the Hawks in 5. Suns won a crucial game 5 in this series. Hopefully they closing it out in 6 games. BR, we got to give him a shout out too. A lot of your Laker boys is cooking.
Listen, I feel real vindicated about Brandon Ingram because I told everybody, because not for nothing, bro. I get into this argument all the time. I'm like, Tatum is not that much better than B.I. But B.I. was not in Boston. Look, if you swap situations, in my opinion, they have the same exact careers. It's just that he didn't have a Kyrie.
Tatum is a little bit better.
A little bit. A little bit.
No, not defensively too?
I think that B.I. is not as bouncy. It's not as the first step, not as explosive as Tatum. But skill for skill, they're very similar to me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Offensively, yes.
B.I.'s a little longer, a little rangier. He move a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But they're the same type of player to me. Yeah. But if you would have gave B.I., Kyrie Irving, Horford, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, all of these guys, they'd be winning anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel vindicated right now because I told you B.I.'s like that. Don't worry about Zion. You got B.I.
That's true. That's also another shot at these new Twitter fans I wrote on acting like B.I. just became this nice. I'm like, yo, you guys watch no NBA. If you're surprised,
they don't, bro.
If you're surprised that B.I. is getting 25 to 30, you shouldn't be surprised at that. When this series came in, I'm like, why are people acting like the Suns are gonna sweep the Pelicans? I never thought it was gonna be a sweep, especially without Book. I'm like, Ingram is the best scorer on the floor. There's nobody that can really check him. I mean, Bridges, yes, he can check him, but I mean, when you're an offensive elite scorer, there's really nobody that can check you, if I'm being honest.
He's scoring at all 3 levels now. And before B.I. used to be afraid to attack the Baja. Now he's going to the rim. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That means he's getting more confident using that body in that frame. So he gets a lot of love. And I'm glad that he's actually getting some good kudos or whatever. And he's getting the shine that he deserves. So
I ain't no front. I enjoyed watching Book. I love Book, but Book getting hurt means like, oh, okay, Phoenix. Now I get to feel a little bit of the adversity. You know what I mean? One of your guys got hurt. Yes. Long series now.
Yeah.
Y'all should win in 6 though. It should be over now, in my opinion.
I agree. It should be over. But yes, I agree with you. Same thing with the injuries. And like I said, I don't make no excuses with the injuries. Chris Paul's still on that team. I still expect them to win in 6. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect a sweep. So I don't know why people are surprised that it's going 5 or 6. But I didn't expect them to win on the road that game. But listen, the Pelicans, they had a top 5 record since the All-Star break, since they got CJ. So even without Zion. So, man.
I told people right after game 3, not even after game 4, I said, Phoenix only came for one game, y'all. Don't go crazy with game 4. They came to get one, and they got it.
Yeah. I didn't expect them to get 2. Yeah, the series might be a wrap. So we're going to see what's going to happen in game 6 in that one. Raptors Sixers. It's getting very interesting right here. I know you made that face because I'm making that face too. James Harden's looking a little shaky. Embiid is injured. Raptors are hurt, but they don't give a damn. They going to the 6 right now for game 6. Is this going 7, Jarv?
Listen. We just saw just last season. Philly folded the tent. They lost game 5 and game 7 at the crib against Trey.
At the crib.
Now you got a team with championship experience that don't give a damn.
Son.
I'm picking the Raptors. I'm jumping out the window. History's gonna be made in this series.
Oh my God, the Twitter will be on fire if the Raptors really come back from 3. It's never been done before, correct? No,
never been done.
Never been done. Wow.
I'm out the window, Just. The Raptors are winning this series.
Wow, listen, I'm with you. I would love for the Raptors to win this just for the comedy. I would love for the Raptors to win.
Same here.
Oh my Lord! And then against Doc Rivers, Embiid, Harden. After doing a trade mid-season, after fiending, and then you lose in the first round,
bro. It would only be karmically right if both Philly and Brooklyn go home in historic fashion, bro. Yeah,
I love how you said it would be karmically right if both of them. Yeah. Wow. And one getting swept, one losing 3 from a 3-0. Wow. That is very unprecedented on both sides. Wow. Grizzlies, T-Wolves. This one might go 7. Game 6 coming up. They got to go to Minnesota to get that win.
I got Minnesota at 7, Just.
Minnesota?
I'm picking Minnesota to win Game 7.
Oh my God, stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Because, first of all, when this series got made, I was like, this is a pick'em series all the way. They're both young and dumb, and they play a lot of offense, right?
Yeah.
And then I looked at the series, and I'm like, Minnesota's handed them 2 games in this series already. Yes. If this was boxing on points, Minnesota's winning on points. Yeah. They get Game 6. I'm taking D-Lo, ice in his veins.
Oh, yeah. D-Lo. I forgot. Dog, I forgot
ice
that.
In his veins.
We used to talk about this for so many years. I forgot. You're such a big D-Lo. Oh, man.
Come on now, bro. I got to stay on brand, baby.
I never liked Mr. Robotic D-Lo. I never liked this guy. But you know what's crazy?
Ice in his veins.
He does have ice in his veins. I give you that. He does. And Ant Edwards, boy, he's a stud. Young stud in the league. Young stud. Cat, I've never been a big believer.
Get Cat out of there. Go get a rim runner.
Yo, get him out of there because that's my thing with this series. I can't trust Cat on a Game 7 on the road to give you.
Low key can't trust him in Game 6. Well, we could see.
That's a fact. You got the T-Wolves. I got the Grizzlies in 7 because I need these boys to win. I can't let Golden State to me would murder the T-Wolves. I can't let that happen.
Barbecue.
Nah, I need Memphis in there. Come on, Ja. I need some Bane, my guy. I need you to get another 30-piece.
Now you need Memphis to get Golden State out of there. I know you're concerned.
I have to. Oh, wounded. Either one. They need to do something. Warriors, you think they're going to wrap up the Nuggets tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Me too. I think it's a wrap for them. Jazz, Mavs, think it might go 7?
I got no faith in the Jazz at this point. I think they're ready to get their coach fired. I got the Mavs closing them out Game 6.
Game 6? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got this one going Game 7, but I would not be surprised if Luka goes and closes them out. I'm not going to lie. And you never know. Quinn Snyder might be over there in LA next season. That's
why I need the series to be over. Got to expedite the process.
You want Quinn Snyder?
I need Quinn in LA.
Oh, okay. That'll be a good hire. I'm not mad at that. Bucks, Bulls. I think the Bucks are probably going to take care of the Bulls tonight. What are you thinking?
Yo, you notice that the Chicago wing of Twitter has been real quiet.
Oh
a certain few somebodies. I ain't gonna name no names.
Crickets, my brother.
The Bucks came and embarrassed you guys 2 games in a row.
I
couldn't find nobody on Twitter. This series is over. We got Giannis stacking Oreos and jars in between games. It's over.
I was dying at that. I saw that video last night. Come on, his son is unbothered right now.
Where they at though, Just?
Yo, but they quiet though. I mean, I might throw a little tumbleweed. I might go in there and throw a tumbleweed real quick or something.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this right now because you know CP3 is not my man. But I better not see none of them if Phoenix loses, because we couldn't find y'all when the Bulls were losing. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, they will appear. Remember, it's personal. They're going to appear. They're going to appear. They're going to. And you know what? I'll be ready because I'm there. Okay. I'm louder. It's June every year. I don't care what year it is. It's June.
You're just waiting.
I'm waiting. Come on. I just need the one. I'll shut up. After CP gets one, I'll shut up.
Okay.
But yeah, look ahead really quick to round 2, Bucks Celtics. How you see that going? You think it's gonna be a tough series?
I got the defending champs, bro. I'll put it to you like this.
Ooh.
As of right now, I got the Bucks going back to the finals.
Wow, really?
I'm not betting against Giannis anymore.
Even with Middleton out.
Giannis shut me up last year. I got Giannis until Giannis get beat.
I hear that. Even with Middleton out, you don't think it matters?
I got Giannis until Giannis get beat.
Wow. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
The East don't have no killers, so I'm a lean on the defending champs.
Me personally, I got Miami coming out the East. I got Miami. I don't
know, bro.
I
don't trust it. I don't know if they can score enough. They defense is there. To me, if Miami and Boston play in the conference finals again, it's gonna look like the 90s. It's gonna be games in the 80s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like they don't score enough against elite competition.
I agree though. You a fair point, 100% correct. I agree on that. But if they play a team that also can't score as well as they can, I feel like it'll be all right.
If they get Boston, Miami's in the finals. Put it that way.
Even if the Bucks, I'm picking Miami against the Bucks too. I think they got the antidote. I got my faith in Spo. They got PJ over there. That's the guy. PJ's a difference.
They'll need Middleton to beat Miami. I'll say that.
Wait, you don't need Middleton to beat Miami?
They'll need Middleton for Miami.
I was about to say, disrespect. Come on, brother.
I won't disrespect Miami like that. No disrespect.
Okay, I hear that, brother. Yo, Jarv, man, I appreciate you, my brother, for coming through and joining me on this impromptu episode, my brother. We're definitely going to get you back on. We got to get you in studio, of course, so we can get the real feel. I might bring Reem up in here, Damo in the studio. We might get a big round table going on.
Me and Reem were supposed to collab, but then I just didn't do the pod at all this season. I really was mad at the same way you're talking about Twitter. Twitter made me hate NBA discourse, bro. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. But I want to chop it up with Reem. I ain't seen Damo in years. Yeah. We got to make this happen, bro.
Yeah. Oh, we gonna have a nice little round table going on for us.
Yes, sir.
So definitely we gonna make that happen. So once again, I appreciate you, my brother, for coming through on this episode impromptu. I appreciate you as always. Many more to come as usual, as always. League office, we got to get that back together going on soon.
Has to happen.
Has to happen 100%. And family, make sure you're reaching out to Jarv. I was gonna say might have heat for you when they see that Wade Westbrook name. They might have some heat for you on Twitter, but
my energy is the same. Pack that man. Get Westbrook out of here. Empty calories, an empty calorie season. Pack them up. I'm not trying to get fired. I gotta go.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, my brother. Take it easy. Have a good one, man.
Yes, sir.
Family, this is episode 179, and we out.